I want to thank Mike for the invitation today and for representing the community of Florence on my President's Advisory Council. This council and the regional advisory boards that we have with business and community leaders across South Carolina are really an important opportunity for us to hear about our operations as well as the needs in our communities, and I just wanted to personally thank you for your service on that. I'd also like to thank all of you for your time today, for joining us. I know you have busy schedules, and I'll keep my remarks brief, but we'll have an opportunity here to talk a little bit about what South Carolina means to Duke Energy and how we're thinking about the energy landscape. We serve customers from the upstate to here in the PD, and as I think about the company, something that has really rung true to my core is Duke Energy is certainly a large company, but everything that we do is local. So that's true whether we're hardening the electric grid against extreme weather or cyber threats, exploring ways to grow renewable energy options for our customers, or simply volunteering at community events. All of this takes place in someone's backyard. Duke Energy, at its core, is an economic development company. More than a century ago, three visionaries came together to harness the power of the Catawba River. And you may know that the first power plant of that young company was in York County. And soon after, we began serving customers in mill villages and small farming towns, providing power to the burgeoning economy of the state. We are proud to have helped grow and modernize the economy of South Carolina ever since. And we've done so through significant business and recruitment efforts which have had a significant economic impact on this region and, in fact, across the state. South Carolina continues to develop at a rapid pace, and Duke Energy powers thousands of businesses in the state. We work with industry leaders to not only keep their operations running, but to also help them achieve their own sustainability goals. We do this while working to keep rates well below the national average for both our residential and our business customers. In addition, Duke Energy maintains a sizable economic presence in South Carolina as a major employer with significant investments in the state. In fact, the company's current annual economic impact on the state totals approximately $7.6 billion annually. Certainly a humbling statistic. With that comes 16,645 jobs across the Palmetto State that produce $1.2 billion in annual labor income that would not exist otherwise. And although that is highest around the three nuclear stations that power more than 50% of the state's carbon-free electricity, Duke Energy's economic impact actually extends to 42 of the 46 counties in the state. And this certainly includes right here in Florence County, where our economic impact annually is more than $160 million. While we're talking about economic impact, I think it is important that we take a moment and talk more about nuclear energy, which is the real backbone of our ability to deliver the carbon-free 24/7 power that drives South Carolina's economic engine. And with the Robinson facility just next door in Darlington County, most of you know that those nuclear plants provide thousands of jobs in South Carolina. And as we continue to develop more diverse energy sources, the expansion of job opportunities directly contributes to the economic success of communities across the state. Our energy infrastructure not only supports jobs for those who maintain it, but also the thousands of jobs that are created as newer technologies like renewables connect to that infrastructure. South Carolina is an increasingly advanced manufacturing state, and Duke Energy certainly stands ready to deliver the reliable and competitive energy prices we rely on to power the hundreds of thousands of jobs these industries create, helping the Palmetto State and its economy continue to thrive. With a thriving economy comes a rapidly growing population that requires even more secure and resilient power, and that's why we're constantly working to stay ahead of growing and potential threats to the electric grid. Duke Energy is working on a multi-year grid improvement initiative that will make the grid more resilient and also allow it to recover faster from outages that are caused by powerful and severe weather events. In recent years, households and businesses across the state have endured a number of record-breaking storms, and with them, power outages. And I know, particularly in this part of the state, that's been true. We use the Florence Center as a staging area when we have storms, and we appreciate the partnership we have there. In several instances, we've had to completely rebuild the grid from this historic damage. And helping our communities recover after inclement weather takes significant resources. But we believe that South Carolina has an opportunity to better prepare our communities for future weather threats while still prioritizing cost savings for customers. That's why Duke Energy supports the passage of enabling legislation that gives our Public Service Commission a tool to help recover storm costs if a proposed plan would result in lower overall costs for our customers. And with potentially more frequent and dangerous storms on the horizon, we have no time to waste in recovering from past storm damage while continuing to harden the grid so it's less susceptible to future extreme weather. So let me switch gears for a moment and take a minute to dig a little bit deeper into the topic of sustainable energy. We have an obligation to protect our natural resources while continuing to provide reliable and affordable energy for our customers. That's why Duke Energy is taking a long-term, comprehensive approach to environmental responsibility. Duke Energy is committed to cutting carbon emissions in half by 2030 and achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050. This includes targeting energy generated from coal to represent less than 5% of our total generation by 2030, and to fully exit coal by 2035 as part of what is the largest coal fleet retirement in the industry. To reach these goals, we're working with communities to protect our environment, develop and deploy innovative and sustainable technologies, and to transition our power generation fleet to lower and zero carbon emitting sources. In fact, we're well on our way here in the Palmetto State. The last coal-powered plant that we operated here in the state was retired in 2015. And we replaced that generation with two of the most efficient, state-of-the-art natural gas power plants available. Plants that will help drive the economy of the region while allowing us to achieve our sustainability goals. And as I mentioned earlier, nuclear energy is the foundation for enabling Duke Energy to achieve net zero carbon emissions, accounting for more than 50% of all power generation in the state. The company is working to extend the licenses of our nuclear plants, beginning with Coney in the upstate, which is our largest nuclear facility, so that we can keep these critical resources running. I'm happy to say that the Robinson plant is not far behind in this relicensing process. Duke Energy also continues to explore and invest in technology that will drive a smarter energy future. An important way we will do this is by developing a carbon plan for the Carolinas that will help us achieve our shared goals in both states. And you might notice I said Carolinas, and that's important when it comes to our utilities, because for more than a century we have operated a dual state system in the Carolinas. This model has been the most optimal way to ensure that we can provide reliable energy to customers at affordable rates. The scope and scale of this dual state system has supported the construction of projects of the magnitude of our nuclear and pump storage hydro facilities in South Carolina. These carbon-free investments have been major drivers of economic development in both states and have provided a significant tax base and employment to thousands over the years. This economic impact is something that I cannot overstate. A majority of South Carolina's leading employers also have explicit sustainability goals, and the carbon intensity of electricity suppliers is top of mind for economic development prospects too. One story that comes to mind for me, our ability to deliver renewable energy was a driving factor in Toyota's recent arrival for a battery facility in North Carolina. And we expect that recruiting the next big employer to South Carolina may likewise hinge on helping achieve their corporate sustainability goals. In fact, I can say that nearly every South Carolina economic development prospect in the last year that we've spoken to has specifically asked whether we can provide carbon-free resources. We're optimistic that we'll be able to develop an energy plan with stakeholders that can work for both states. We will find ways to collaborate between the two states by listening to and learning from the many voices at the table as we drive toward a prosperous energy future that meets the unique needs of each state. In addition to resiliency and sustainable energy, we're steadfast in our commitment to community investment. I'd like to take a moment to recognize how important South Carolina communities are to Duke Energy. We're on the ground every day in communities like Florence as employees and as neighbors. We have more than 3,600 Duke Energy employees in the state and 7,400 retirees who continue to live in the state. And we're committed to supporting local communities through outreach, through donations, economic assistance, and volunteerism. And our reach in these efforts is statewide. In 2021 alone, we provided nearly $2.5 million in charitable contributions and grants to organizations serving South Carolina that our customers and communities care deeply about. As one of the larger customer bases, Florence includes 150 employees and 280 retirees residing in the county. And our philanthropic efforts in the county certainly reflect this scale. Last year, we provided more than $360,000 in charitable grants, matching contributions, and other donations to organizations operating in the county, each time with Mindy holding a check. Those efforts include supporting things that are important to the Chamber and its members. That's why I'm happy to announce today that the Duke Energy Foundation is supporting the Building Bridges Leadership and Diversity Program with a $5,000 grant. Spearheaded by the nonprofit PD Visions Foundation, the mission of Building Bridges is to enable our community to address diversity issues. At Duke Energy, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a business imperative wired into how we power communities and how we run our business. And we're proud to support programs like this. Another way we power our communities is by looking for ways to help support and grow the industries that are important to the state's economy. It should be no surprise to you that agribusiness is the state's #1 industry, accounting for nearly 250,000 jobs and $46.2 billion in annual economic impact. And in rural communities like those in and around Florence County, farming has historically been a very important player in the local economy, and it continues to have a significant impact today. And Duke Energy is honored to power thousands of family and commercial farms and related businesses across the state. That's why it was my privilege earlier this week to announce the Duke Energy Foundation provided grants totaling $500,000 to several organizations across our state, organizations that are focused on building the diverse 21st century workforce this industry will need to prosper and grow. This included support for the South Carolina Governor's School for Agriculture in McCormick County and Future Farmers of America. In addition to education initiatives, this funding will also help to expand the work of the Center for Heirs Property Preservation into the PD, helping more minority farmers and landowners protect family land. In closing, I hope you leave here today with a better understanding of how Duke Energy is continuously working across South Carolina to build a smarter energy future for the state, which provides high quality, reliable, and affordable service, supports the growth of new technologies and cleaner energy, helps attract new business to the state, contributing to new jobs and economic growth, and powers the lives of customers and communities so they can work, play, and live the way they want. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about Duke Energy and our vision for what's to come as this energy landscape continues to evolve. I can tell you we're focused on innovation and collaboration to create a strong energy future that we can all be proud of. As I said at the beginning, I really firmly believe that although Duke Energy is a big company, everything we do is local. After all, we live here too. So thank you for your time today, and I think I turn it over now to Paul.